MidJourney just released version 7, and it came with a couple major updates and also some small changes. One of the big updates is something called draft mode and conversational mode. Draft mode is finally a way that we can save some GPU hours while experimenting with images. Draft mode allows you to create a couple rough draft generations, and then when you make something that you like, you can create that draft in full quality. While creating your draft, you can use conversational mode to talk in natural language to MidJourney, no needing to know special keywords to get the image that you want. You can talk to MidJourney now just like any other LLM like ChatGPT, but for now, let's get started with draft mode. You'll first want to make sure you go to MidJourney settings and make sure you're on the latest version, version 7, and select draft mode. You can also select this draft mode icon here. Now, why draft mode is one of the best tools MidJourney has came out with in a little while is draft mode is half the GPU cost, but is also 10 times faster. So MidJourney gives you a limited amount of GPU hours you can use, and if you're trying to just experiment around in MidJourney, draft mode is what you want to be using. So for example, we can create multiple versions of a Porsche 911 utilizing permutations. We can say we want a red, blue, and yellow one. Press enter. And look how much faster these images load. And you'll notice the draft tag in right by the prompt. That's how you know these are in draft mode. And the reason draft mode is half the cost is the image quality of these images are not as high resolution as they would be when normally creating an image generation. Since draft mode does make these images in lower quality, you can upscale it into full quality. So the best way to use draft mode is to take advantage of the cheaper GPU hours and through draft mode, fine-tune an image to how you exactly want it, and then come down over to upscale and select creative if you want it to maximum resolution or you just kind of want it a little bit better looking. So we'll try out using creative, and just using upscale will make this exact picture in higher resolution. But when upscaling an image, make sure to keep in mind that they can almost use up to twice as many GPU minutes as generating your initial images. So that could eat up the cost of your GPU balance in your MidJourney account. If you want to rerun this job as a regular job so that it's in standard quality, you can go down here and use enhance. But we like this picture, so we're going to try using creative. All right, and here's the results, the before and after. You'll notice the picture on the left is our initial draft image. Now pay attention to the resolution of the image. Nothing in the picture itself changed, and the picture on the right is our upscaled image, so it's going to look much more HD, higher resolution, and an overall better looking image. And then clicking on an image, if we want to rerun this as a standard job, we can go down to the enhance button here next to the more creative action. So let's try that out. Click enhance, and here are the resulting images. So you can see they're really similar. What MidJourney does is use that image in its prompt. It's going to be very close to that image, but will slightly change it. So you'll notice the headlights are a little different, the rims are a little different, the road and the bridge behind it is a little different, but it's a very, very close image. However, before using draft mode, MidJourney, as of right now, makes you unlock personalization. And it takes just a couple minutes to do. You just have to answer whether you like picture A or picture B more. Doing that just takes a couple minutes, but after doing that, you'll unlock draft mode. But the good news is you can turn that on and off whenever you want. So I personally leave that off so that the images I want to create aren't influenced by what I like. But you might actually like that feature if you're trying to find something that you personally would like. And another feature of draft mode is something called conversational mode. And you can find that in the top right next to draft mode. this little text speech bubble icon here. And if you click on it, you can now kind of type to MidJourney like you would, for example, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, all those large language models. So I wrote in a prompt, a new Porsche 911 on the city street in drizzling rain, and press enter. But in conversational mode, MidJourney will actually put in a new prompt for you that will maybe give you the correct keywords to get what you want out of the image. So here it rewrote my prompt to a new Porsche 911, city street, drizzling rain, wet pavement, evening lighting, reflections, urban setting. Just like a regular conversation, MidJourney now can reference your past conversations with it. Just now type in, now make it in a sunny day on the racetrack. And MidJourney knows what you're talking about. You want a new Porsche 911, racetrack, sunny day, clear skies, motion blur, dynamic angle, vibrant colors. And when using conversational mode, it'll only refer back to the last job that you did. And if you wanted to refer to an older job and image in that job, there isn't really a direct way to do that in conversational mode. So you have to go back down to the image and job that you want. Say we want to modify this image here. All you have to do is click on it. In order to modify the image while still keeping the original image intact, the only real way to do that is to use the editor here. Otherwise, if you wanted a slight variation of the image, you can either use the remix function or the vary function, or use the image style or prompt buttons here. The next thing you need to know about MidJourney V7, as of the time that I'm recording this video, there is no relaxed speed generation. MidJourney themselves has said it needs a little bit more time to be optimized, so right now there isn't an option for it. So you have to be careful with your GPU minutes when using fast and turbo mode, because they do use a lot more than just relaxed mode. But they are planning on adding that speed in the near future. And besides relaxed mode being missing, there is one other key feature that is missing from MidJourney V7. Since this is the alpha version, it's not the fully released. MidJourney V7 isn't fully released yet, so there is a couple missing features. One of them is character reference. You notice that is missing up here, so we have just image and style references. Whereas if we go back to version 6.1, you will see the character reference is now there. So we have all three: image, style, and character. MidJourney themselves said that is another feature they will be adding back to MidJourney V7. They'll also be adding a brand new reference called object reference. They haven't said too much about it, but I could only imagine instead of a character reference, where that is typically where it would be referencing people in an image, it'll reference an object in the image. Just like the example we were working with earlier with cars, I could see that being really useful. And if you guys had any questions about anything during the video, make sure to leave a comment and I'll be looking through the comments to answer any questions. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.